This is CBC Here and Now.
Happy Friday, Newfoundland and Labrador. I'm hanging out at the Paul Reynolds Community Center in St. John's. That's where the National Artistic Swimming Team is this week. They've been in town all week training with some local clubs. We're going to talk to two of the members and some of the swimmers coming up.
I can just push that and I know I'm safe.
3 municipalities are trying to make some crosswalks and intersections more safe. We'll have more on that coming up on Here and Now.
Good evening, I'm Anthony Germain and welcome to Here and Now. Well, it's hard enough getting around town on a day like today, but imagine trying to do that if you can't see. 3 municipalities on the Avalon are trying to make it safer for pedestrians with sight loss. The CBC's Meg Roberts has more.
About 7 years ago, Cindy Antle woke up to the feeling that something was wrong with her eyes. She thought it would just go away, but it only got worse. Now Antle uses one word to describe crossing the street: dangerous.
Last summer, I was walking home from a store in our neighborhood and the sun was directly in my eyes and it absolutely took my total vision and absolute panic struck. I couldn't find the button. I didn't know where it was.
Now she wears a fob around her neck. It's technology that the City of St. John's, City of Mount Pearl, and the Town of Paradise have installed at some of their crosswalks and intersections. Pedestrians can either use this app here called Key to Access, or they can use a key fob like Antle. Now when I press this button right here, it automatically alerts the lights to go off, so that way I don't have to worry about trying to find this button here. Antle says it's given her a new sense of security.
It's made it so that I don't have to have somebody with me. I can go independently, do this myself, and feel that freedom.
Technology today is allowing people with vision loss to get out in the community. We've been out as a national organization, out talking to vendors about making technology work so that the technology actually replaces the loss of visual cues.
The Canadian National Institute for the Blind hopes others with mobility challenges also utilize the services. St. John spent $25,000 on the project, and the city has 3 signalized intersections and 4 crosswalks with the technology. Mount Pearl and Paradise each has it at 3 of its intersections with lights and 2 at intersections with a stop sign. Meg Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, the town of Happy Valley Goose Bay is banning the bag, and that means that come January 1st, you'll be seeing a lot fewer of these around town. Instead, you'll have to use one of these at the grocery store. I'll check in with some businesses and see how they're dealing with the change coming up on Here and Now.
Well, our apologies for that, but just before you saw time freeze there, that technology to help people who can't see was certainly getting that time of the year where the weather is going to make that technology needed more and more. Many of us woke up to this morning the snow, the sleet, and what most of Labrador has been experiencing for weeks. I'm talking about that very first taste of winter. Carolyn?
That's right, Anthony. Forget Black Friday. Today was more like not fit Friday because it was not fit for anyone to be outdoors, especially on the Avalon. It was like winter sneezed all over St. John's this morning. High winds, snow, and sideways rain blasted whoever ventured outdoors. The poor souls commuting by foot or by bike to work, to school, or to shop. And that light sprinkling of overnight snow, about 5 centimeters worth, made way for some heavy rain and drizzle, just over 10 millimeters. The kind of day to close the curtains and stay indoors. But for eager Black Friday shoppers, it meant not only braving the stores, but also braving the storm. A steady stream of traffic flowed through Stavanger Drive and into the downtown. In central Newfoundland, there was a snowfall warning for Gander. 10 to 15 centimeters was enough to call the town's first snow day. And despite delayed flights, for some, the white stuff was a welcome sight.
It's this time of the year, we got to have it by. We need it for the sleds. Up in the woods and the boys, we need it out in the woods.
Do you think any of this is going to stay on the ground long enough to get out?
Nah, this will be gone again tomorrow. We got to get frost for a couple of weeks first.
What have you guys been doing today?
We watched a movie and just watched TV and played around, and then we just came outside and we were like, let's build a snowman.
So what is the best thing about not having school?
Get to play outside.
You get to play outside, and you like playing in the snow?
Yes.
Play for some, work for others. The town crews were also kept very busy throughout the day. But what's in store for Saturday? Well, for many places, more wind, more snow, and more rain. I'll have all the dreary details in just a few minutes. Anthony?
Thanks, Carolyn. It's been 3 years since Jennifer Hillier-Penny was last seen in her hometown of St. Anthony. The mother vanished, and the police still have no answers about what might have happened to her. As her family prepares to mark the anniversary of her disappearance, they still have hope, though, that there'll be some answers. The CBC's Leanne Power reports.
It's so cruel.
Leanne Davis remembers her aunt's constant presence in her life with a mixture of fondness and pain.
Aunt Jenny, she wasn't that much older than what I was. So I do remember growing up, she was always there. She was there on my first day of school. She helped take care of me. You know, we were a close family, so she was always there.
When Jennifer Hillier-Penny vanished on the night of November 30th, 2016, she left a trail of broken hearts and a mystery that to this day continues to haunt her family. They plan to hold a remembrance ceremony to mark the anniversary of her disappearance tomorrow, as life has moved on without her.
Yeah, we need justice. We need answers for her kids. She has 2 girls to grow up and not know where their mom is. And she has a grandson now that she's never met. It's cruel.
The ceremony will take place at Friendship Park in St. Anthony at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Leanne Power, CBC News, Gander.
An update for you tonight on a rescue story that we brought you earlier in the week. Brianna Campbell says she learned a lesson Wednesday about staying safe while out hiking alone. The 21-year-old ran into trouble on a Corner Brook trail and had to call 911 for help. Troy Turner reports.
Still has some bruising on her left leg, but the swelling and numbness have gone away. Brianna Campbell's late-night hike turned into an unwanted adventure in the early hours of Wednesday morning. She was walking about 2 kilometers upstream from this part of the river when she veered off the trail.
I have trouble sleeping, so usually I'll go out and clear my head, and wasn't expecting this.
Police first reported she had fallen down a 12-foot embankment. However, Campbell says she was already in the shallow stream when she slipped and got her foot stuck under a rock.
Oh, it was cold. My body went into a shock for a moment, and I realized I did something I shouldn't have done.
Police arrived in about 15 minutes. With the help of the fire department and paramedics, she was taken to hospital. About an hour later, she was released. The whole ordeal has made her rethink her late-night wilderness hikes.
Nothing that's going to put me in that situation again. I probably will do night walks again, but I will definitely not go near the water.
Well, the situation did turn out okay, and Brianna Campbell is fine now. She has learned an important lesson here, and that is always tell somebody where you're going. Troy Turner, CBC News, Corner Brook.
Well, Newfoundland and Labrador business owners are calling on the provincial government to delay a minimum wage increase that's expected in the spring. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says it's unclear just how much the wage will increase or when the government's going to make a decision about it. The current minimum wage is $11.40. The Federation says it could increase by 2% or substantially more. Businesses are calling on the province to give them at least half a year to adjust after that decision is handed down.
If they announce a significant increase in minimum wage, whether 50 cents, 75 cents, or $1, it would be difficult for business owners to adjust to that within 2 or 3 months. So that's the reason why we're asking for the delay. And all we're asking for is for it to be, the delay to be at least 6 months from the time that the government announces the decision.
Team Canada coming up after the break.
I guess I haven't dealt with it in a way, and like now it's all starting to.
Yeah. If you had never have fought for us, for people like you, then we wouldn't be here. So, thanks to you, man.
Stand up and try to like have a voice to try to stop this from happening. No one should be bought, ever. Here we are.
Welcome back to Here and Now. Time for a look at the weather forecast, and it's like the weather couldn't make up its mind in St. John's today. It was snowing, then it was raining, it was windy. It was a pretty messy day for sure, and going to continue to be messy for other parts of the island. We have these warnings in place for the west coast. A wind warning, going to be very breezy along the coast there in the Corner Brook area and Port aux Basques. And we also have the snowfall warning in place. Bit of a tricky one. The snow is expected in the high terrain areas, while in the lower terrain areas, like in the Corner Brook area, they're going to be seeing some rain, about 20 to 30 millimeters of rain. So that's what that warning is. In Labrador, we have a snowfall warning, 5 to 20 centimeters of snow in the Norman Bay, Lodge Bay area, and winter storm warning for Makovic and Cartwright through to Hopedale. 30 to 50 centimeters of snow with high winds there, and we have a wind warning in place. So yes, it's going to be a very nasty evening, and as well, it's going to continue into tomorrow. So let's see how it plays out. You can see all the snow here this evening, and mixed with rain. It's like it just can't make up his mind, right? And for the Avalon, we're going to see some more rain overnight tonight, and that snow continuing along the coast of Labrador, about 5 to 10 millimeters of rain in St. John's. 5 as the overnight low, but the winds are fairly light, very different than it was earlier today. Marystown going to see a heavier rainfall this evening, and Grand Falls winds are going to see about 5 to 10 millimeters as well as the west coast, but they also have that rain and those warnings in place. Now moving up to Labrador, more snow up here. Cartwright going to see about 5 to 15 centimeters of snow overnight, and look at that wind chill for Labrador City. Minus 26 overnight tonight. So looking ahead till tomorrow, we have a very similar setup on the island there. More rain coming through, won't be as heavy, more snow for the west and as well for the southeast of Labrador. So yeah, it's going to continue throughout the day. It's going to be a pretty gray day in St. John's. Not as much rain as we saw today, but it just kind of sticks around right through until Saturday evening. So only about 2 to 4 millimeters of rain expected there. A bit heavier in the Bonavista Vista area as well as Marystown, 5 to 10 millimeters of rain expected there, but temperatures above zero. Windy for the northeast coast, the Twillingate area, very windy there, lots of rain expected as well. For the west coast, that snow continuing in the higher terrain and some more rain for the Corner Brook area. And moving on up to the Straits, we have some rain there for St. Anthony, but it will be mixed with some snow as well. 15 centimeters for Cartwright tomorrow, and Makovic going to be a really nasty place tomorrow with those high winds and 10 to 15 millimeters. Winds getting up to 90, up to 110 kilometers per hour, and staying very cold in Labrador City as they have a wind chill of a minus 26. Well, that's your forecast. Anthony, back to you.
All right, Carolyn. Well, from minus 26 to a nice warm place, Canada's national artistic swimming team has been in St. John's this week prepping for the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. The fact they're in St. John's making a big splash with local swimmers. Here now is Jeremy Eaton, all nice and warm and roasty toasty at the Paul Reynolds Centre tonight. So Jeremy, other than your perspiration, what's happening there this evening?
So the National Artistic Swimming Team has been in town all week, working with the local clubs in and around the Avalon Peninsula. And yeah, Anthony, it's very hot in here. I jump in the water, but I'm not doing that. I know normally I would, but I'm not doing it, so I just want to get that off the top. But there's two people with me joining me now who have been in the water all week. This is Catherine. You're from St. John's?
Yes, born and raised.
Born and raised. And Hallie, this is Hallie, where are you from?
I'm from Calgary, Alberta.
So how did you go from being a swimmer here in St. John's to the National Artistic Swimming Team?
Well, I was training in St. John's for about 6 years. I started I did a summer camp and I loved it. And then after going to a few national competitions, I really felt like I really wanted to make national teams, and so I decided to contact Artistic Swimming Canada, and they gave me some advice. I moved up to Toronto, and it just kind of grew from there.
Where do you guys train out of? Where do you girls train out of now?
Montreal.
Montreal. Hallie, where are you from?
I'm from Calgary, Alberta.
So how long have you been involved in artistic swimming?
I've been involved in artistic swimming for 13 years now, yeah.
Neither of you look very old. Can I ask how old you are?
19. I'm 20.
Okay, so a long time. You've been swimming most of your life. So tell the audience, what have you been doing all week in St. John's?
Well, we've had the privilege of working with lots of girls from Mount Pearl, St. John's, CBS, and just working on skills with them and routine and technical stuff. And then every morning, though, we've been working on our own routines, preparing for the Olympics, and working at the Provincial Training Center, doing weights and cardio and all that good stuff.
So I got to ask, Hallie, how many hours a day do you and your fellow teammates spend training?
We train anywhere from 8 hours a day to about 4.5, so it can range quite a bit. In a week, it's about 50 hours at the pool.
Have you ever been to St. John's before?
No, I haven't. First time, and I love it. I want to come back for sure.
So what's the experience been like? It's not very often that we get a national team to come through St. John's. What's it been like for you to work with some of these local swimmers from around the Avalon Peninsula?
It's such a great experience. Like, it's such a learning experience for them, but also for us, especially to see them grow and improve so quickly. It's so exciting to see that in all over Canada as well. Yeah.
So you said that this team is training. Not this team, because these are local swimmers, but your team is training for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. How big of a deal, or what would it mean for you coming from St. John's, you trained to the Ac Arena, I guess, to make it to that big stage?
It is just absolutely a dream come true to even be able to participate swimming with this amazing group of girls, and really just biggest goal of my life so far is to go to the Olympics, and it would be such an honor.
So you both were late for this interview, but why were you late? Why were you delayed? What was going on upstairs?
We just have been talking to lots of the younger girls coming in. Everyone is eager to get a picture and an autograph, and we absolutely love meeting everyone and just getting to know everybody.
So that's enough. Thank you very much for your time, Hallie. Thank you so much. Congratulations. We look forward to seeing you on the Olympic team hopefully next year. And that's it for me on the pool deck right now. We're going to talk to some of the swimmers coming up later. Anthony?
When I hear that everybody's out shopping for Christmas, one of my big concerns is how much of what's being purchased will actually be paid for.
Those Christmas bills can be as frightful as, well, today's weather. But up next, credit counselor Al Antle has some advice to prevent you from running up your credit card before it's too late. Well, welcome back to Here and Now. Earlier on the program, Carolyn told you about the dreary, dark weather picture for today. Black Friday, it's a major shopping day in the United States that has spilled into Canada. And it's pretty easy to go from the black into the red this time of year. Often we talk about the bills after they come in Christmas time, January. Well, this evening, as a public service to stop you from going broke, we've got Al Antle with us to talk about some warning signs and some advice to prevent you from going overboard. Al is the Executive Director of Credit Counseling Services, Newfoundland and Labrador. Welcome to Here Now.
Thank you. It's always great to be here.
Yeah, good to see you again. So what do you make of Black Friday?
Oh, I love Black Friday. How do you not love a day where you save money? And you know, it's important that we keep a perspective on saving money is always a good thing. However, if you are in a position or you're not in a position where you're paying for what you purchase today, there's the challenge, and there's where we worry, and this is what will keep us up nights in January.
You know, Black Friday, obviously a big sale, but one thing when I was thinking, preparing, what am I going to ask Al that he hasn't been asked? Maybe you have been asked this, but so many people now turn to Amazon and online shopping. How has the online shopping habits made it easier for people to go broke, if at all?
There is a credit counselor inside Anthony Germain, because that's a question that we ask all the time. And you know, the challenge with online shopping is never the deal or the value or the getting something that you can't get here. The challenge with Amazon is how disciplined we are as consumers. If this is inappropriate, ill-fitting, wrong color, not what I wanted, will I return it? We've talked to people who claim to have $700 to $1,000 a year worth of online shopping that they never use and they never return.
Wow.
That's a huge deal.
So that's just a write-off.
It's a total write-off. And you know, you'll see evidence of that, by the way, when you go to places like the Salvation Army, when you go to places like Value Village, you see all kinds of things with
what's this brand new thing
tag,
doing here?
Tag still on it, because some poor soul bought that, you know, and it didn't work for them.
Right.
Of course, other things end up there because somebody passed away. There's a variety of reasons, but we draw our conclusions from the caseload we have and the client stories that we get, and that's common, absolutely common.
Now, on a future episode of Here and Now, I want you to help me discover this inner credit counselor that you've found tonight. But I will ask you this, though. Driving by Costco, Demal, the parking lots in the morning are packed.
Isn't it crazy?
Do you have a sense of how many people are buying stuff with money they actually have from paychecks or savings versus those who are buying on credit?
Well, you know, that becomes the big challenge, doesn't it? The short answer is we're thinking that somewhere between 60 and 75% of the purchases made between, let's say, November 25th and December 24th,
right,
we're going to say that 70% of those are on credit. That's not a bad thing.
Right.
Keep in mind, credit is a major stimulus to the economy. However, if the good or the service purchased is never paid for, that's actually a drag on the economy, and it's a significant drag, because it's not the $60 pair of shoes. It's the cumulative value of all the people who went out and bought $60 pairs of shoes who suddenly don't stop paying for them. And when you have in excess of 2,000 citizens a year in this province who make assignments in bankruptcy, that is a concern, and it should be a concern.
Okay, I want to wind this down with some advice from Al Antle. Here we are, it's that time of year, people want to make everybody happy. What advice and warning signs would you say people should look out for?
You know, you got to have a budget. The first piece of advice we have is never approach Christmas without a budget. So first thing you need to do is tell yourself how much you're going to spend. Of that amount, you need to spend 70%. And by the way, there's no good amount. We have no opinion as to $1,000 is enough or 500 is too much or whatever. So you establish a budget. 70% of that budget needs to be spent on the people that live under the same roof that you live under.
Okay.
70% of what's left needs to be spent on extended family and friends.
Okay.
70% of what's left needs to be given as tokens. We've forgotten that Christmas is also a token time. You don't need to give the person who shoveled your driveway or delivers your newspaper, you don't need to give them a $40 gift. You need to give them a token of the season which says thank you very much. And the remaining, roughly 2%, should be donated to charity. Do not forget the charities count on the generosity of the public at Christmas time to keep their programs going. So we call that one the rule of 70%.
All right. Well, listen, Al Antle, it's always good to talk to you, and I hope you have a very good Christmas as well.
And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Excellent advice. That's Al Ansel. Well, we're going to go from shopping to shopping bags. People in Happy Valley Goose Bay are going to have to get used to a new way of carrying their groceries in the new year. Plastic will no longer be welcome in the community come January 1st. Here Now's Jacob Barker checked in with residents and some businesses to see how they feel about that change.
It's a sea of plastic here at the Tarrington Co-op as shoppers get their supplies for the weekend. Well, it's something people are used to. For some, it's not something that'll be missed too much.
Just uses these green bags for putting garbage in the bathroom and that. But I got other bags, so I think it'd be a good idea.
Why do you think it's a good idea?
Because that way it won't be all thrown on the side of the roads and the trees and everything.
The co-op has bins of reusable bags out for everyone to see. Some, though, have already made the change as they go designer.
Where'd you get these bags?
Oh, 31.
Yeah.
It's a business that sells all these different cute bags, reusable bags. I'm obsessed with it.
Not just driven by the cuteness, but also for the good of the planet.
Oh, I love it. I think it should have happened a long time ago. And I hope that they follow suit with all the plastic they're using in packaging, like toys and stuff.
Well, the bag ban doesn't come into effect until January 1st here in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Here at War's Pharmacy, they've already done away with them, but you do have your choice of what to carry your stuff out of the store with. You can get these for $1.50, or these paper bags they'll just give you.
When we ran out of our last allotment of plastic bags, we just decided to not order anymore at that time.
War says the paper bags have gone over pretty well, and that customers who buy the cloth bags do come back with them.
I think it's positive. I mean, we're a really consumable society now. I mean, everything is in packaging, and it's just become just a global issue. But like, if everybody does their little part, you know, at some point in time, I mean, hopefully we can make a change.
The province says it will impose a sweeping ban on bags by mid-next year, and proposed federal legislation aims to ban single-use plastics in less than 2 years. Jacob Barker, CBC News, Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Terror in Britain coming up. We'll hear about the attack in London today that has prompted an emergency security meeting.
Welcome back to Here and Now. I'm hanging out at the Paul Reynolds Community Center in St. John's, where the artistic swimming team, Team Canada, has been training here all night tonight. But it doesn't mean much for me to tell you about it. It's probably better to hear from some of the swimmers who have benefited from some of their skills. Do you want to introduce yourself to the TV audience?
I'm Madison.
And what's your name?
I'm Maria.
How long have you been a synchro swimmer?
I've been in synchro this is my 7th year.
7th year? What are you, like 13?
Yes.
So like half your life. And how long have you been a synchro swimmer?
I started in September.
September, so you're a seasoned vet, she's the rookie. What's it been like for you training with the best artistic swimmers in this country?
It's been a real great honor.
A great honor. What was your favorite thing that you learned this week?
Getting to know them all and knowing how fun they're having.
Does it like make you feel a little bit good inside to know that there's a young woman from St. John's, Catherine Barrett, who might be going to the Olympics? Someone who's not too far from your hometown?
Yes, it do.
Yes, I appreciate it. And now you're new to the synchro swimming world. So what's this week been like for you, Maria?
It's really fun.
What was your favorite part about all the training? 'Cause I know you spent a lot of hours in the pool this week. What was your favorite part about all the training?
Getting to meet all of the professional swimmers.
So I want to ask you a question. It looks really easy. That's a joke, by the way. It looks really easy. How hard is synchro swimming?
Pretty hard because you have to keep yourself out of the water.
So we only see a part of it. We only see what's on top, like what these women are doing here behind us, but there's lots of stuff going on underneath, isn't there?
Oh, yes.
All right, well, I appreciate your time. We're just going to switch over here. We have Shannon Driscoll, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
And you're a coach with what team?
I'm the head coach of the Sea Stars Club.
How big of a deal, from a coaching perspective, is it to have the best swimmers in Canada training in and around St. John's, Mount Pearl, and CBS this week?
It's pretty big. We are a pretty small club this year, so we don't really have these role model figures at the club right now. So it's amazing for these kids to see the best in the world, let alone just senior swimmers. And especially having someone that used to be from our club on the team is amazing.
So I know that the team has been here, I think, since Saturday, but there's been training all week. How busy has it been for you and for the young women on your team?
So it's been pretty nonstop. We had a club session on Monday night, so our swimmers got to get in and spend a couple hours with the team. And then there's been something every night for them, optional practice, and then they've been practicing every morning that's open to watch. So it's just been go all weekend from Monday to today.
So obviously we swimmers here at the clubs at CBS, the clubs at Mount Pearl, and the clubs at St. John's, we don't get to see this caliber of artistic swimming around this much. So how beneficial do you think it was to see the best in the country? How much do you think that the girls gained from this week?
I think it was a lot. Like, they got to do a bunch of new drills and see all of these things that we tell them constantly how to do, but to see the best examples, again, in the world of what they're expected to do, and to see that is just like, you can't compare it to anything else.
So I can hear it, I can't see it, but I can hear it, and they're running some of the footage of the routine that the Team Canada did here. Yep. Can you try to put it in words how hard it is, how hard this sport really is?
Well, so it's like running a marathon and doing gymnastics, but all while holding your breath and having to look absolutely effortless while you do it. So it's like there's no moments of being able to have that like face of pure just pain, because you have to look great for the judges all the time. So it's I've never done any sport like it. It's uncomparable to anything else, really.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Madison, and thank you, Maria. Thanks for your time. And so we're out of time here, Anthony, so we're going to throw it back to you in the studio, and I'm going to go dry off because I'm pretty sweaty because it's very hot out here.
I was hoping you would actually put on your bathing cap and the nose plugs and actually give this a whirl. Not going to happen?
I thought about it, but not in the best of shape these days, Anthony. I just need to do a bit more training.
It's fantastic to watch there, Jeremy. Have a great weekend, and thanks a lot.
Welcome back to Here and Now. Time for a look at the long-range forecast. And while things are looking not great for tomorrow, it's going to start to clear off on Sunday. So we'll have a look at that in a second. But first, a quick recap of some of the warnings that are in place. Wind warning along the west coast, Deer Lake, and the Bay Verte area, looking at a snowfall warning, snow in the higher elevations, and rain when you're in the lower elevations and if you're along the coast. So it's a bit of a tricky one there. For Labrador, we have the winter storm warning in place, 30 to 50 centimeters of snow. That's between now and Sunday. And we have the snowfall warning in place as well for southeastern Labrador and the wind warning. So it's going to be very nasty there tonight and tomorrow. So looking ahead, 2 to 4 millimeters of rain in St. John. So it's going to be a foggy, drizzly day. 15 to 25 millimeters for the Twillingate area, and Marystown looking at some heavier rain throughout the day tomorrow as well. Rain for the west coast, but again, snow for the higher elevations. It's going to be that messy mix of precipitation. And for Labrador, 15 centimeters of snow for Cartwright. Temperatures there above 0, 1 degree. And for Labrador, minus 11 as the high there tomorrow. Okay, so let's look into Sunday. Saturday night continues with that wet situation, but then as we get into Sunday morning, it starts to clear off in terms of the wet weather, and then we're looking at a little bit of a snowfall coming through in the morning. St. John's, it's going to be around the freezing mark with a few flurries as well for central areas and for the Corner Brook area. So it's going to be, everything is going to ease off a bit there on Sunday. And for Labrador, looking at some snow continuing there for the Cartwright area, and for Nain and Lab City looking pretty clear. It's really been the only place that's been clear over the past few days. So looking ahead now into Monday, that's when it's really going to clear off for everyone, really. You can see the island there, not much happening by way of precipitation, just a bit of cloud cover. So as you head back to work, things are going to be lovely. 0 for St. John's on Monday. Temperatures around -2 for Grand Falls, Windsor, -5 for the Straits. So it's really just going to be a little bit of a cloudy day with some peaks of sunshine. For Labrador, very similar story there, but Lab City is going to start to see a few flurries move in. So your 5-day forecast, things clear off nicely on Monday in the east, but then we have some more flurry action pushing in for the Tuesday and Wednesday. But the temperature is fairly mild, so it will probably be another one of those messy mix situations. Similar story for Tuesday for Central, and some flurries on Wednesday. And looking ahead to the West Coast, a similar setup there, 0 as the high for Tuesday and Wednesday. So we could see rain, we could see snow. Eastern Labrador, a mix of sun and cloud, mostly cooler temperatures there, nice crisp temperatures. And for Lab City, going to see those flurries on Monday and then clearing on Tuesday. Temperatures staying pretty consistent at -11 and -12 degrees. So that's your forecast. Anthony, back to you.
Thanks, Carolyn. In national and international news tonight, at least 2 people are confirmed dead following what police are calling a terror incident on London Bridge. Passers-by subdued a knife-wielding man. Police then shot him dead. He was wearing what turned out to be a hoax explosive device. The CBC's Margaret Evans reports from London, but first a warning. Some of the pictures in Margaret's report are graphic.
Fear on the streets of London again. These pictures of London Bridge captured as people ran from what police are now describing as a terrorist incident. It began mid-afternoon. The panic on the bridge sparked by what was happening here, recorded by eyewitnesses. A knife-wielding man apparently wrestled to the ground by members of the public. One man seeming to carry the knife away, another pinning the man down, pulled away by police before they shot the suspect. London's Metropolitan Police say they were called to a stabbing incident just before 2 p.m. local time.
A male suspect was shot by specialist armed officers from the City of London Police, and I can confirm that this suspect died at the scene.
Police also say a number of other people were injured. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, spoke of what he called the breathtaking heroism of ordinary Londoners.
Running towards danger, risking their own personal safety to try and save others. And I want to say thank you to them on behalf of all Londoners, but also because it shows the best of us.
Memories of the 2017 terrorist attack in the very same part of London are still raw here. 8 people killed at the time. Tonight, London police are urging calm and vigilance. Margaret Evans, CBC News, London.
To health reporting now. Mammograms are a critical screening tool for breast cancer, but for women with dense breast tissue, tumors can often be missed. A new study suggests some supplemental MRIs or magnetic resonance imaging could be helpful. And as Cass Rusi tells us, it has some patients rethinking their options.
These days, Joan Bush treasures the simplest moments in life, in sharp contrast to worrying events 10 years ago when a routine mammogram revealed a lump in her right breast.
I was sent for further screening at PMH, where I had an ultrasound and biopsies, and ultimately was told that I did have breast cancer.
A lumpectomy was scheduled, but an MRI performed before surgery spotted 3 more tumors in Bush's left breast.
It was the worst day of my life and the best day of my life.
Bush has dense breasts, a trait she shares with about 40% of women. The breast tissue can hide cancerous tumors, making them harder to spot on a mammogram.
The mammogram is looking for things that are white, and when your breast tissue is more dense, it's more white on the x-ray, and it's very hard to see things that are white on white.
A study in the New England Journal of Medicine has found that giving women with dense breasts a supplementary MRI to detect cancer may be more useful than mammograms alone. It involved more than 40,000 Dutch women with extremely dense breasts who had normal results from a mammogram. About 8,000 of the women were also randomly offered an MRI scan. The study found that a supplemental MRI scan was more effective at detecting some cancer.
There is no perfect screening test. Mammography does very well for most women, but for the women who have maybe the 12% of women who have the most dense breasts, we call them extremely dense, mammography, its accuracy tends to fall off. And that's where supplemental screening using MRI or perhaps ultrasound can find cancers that would be missed on mammography.
MRIs are more sensitive and better at detecting smaller tumors earlier, but they're not perfect. They can also produce false positives. Still, Joan Bush is grateful for the MRI screening she got.
They caught it. They were able to treat it. I was able to make the decision to have a bilateral mastectomy, and I'm healthy today.
The question unanswered in the study remains whether an MRI, in addition to a mammogram, improves survival rates. Cass Rusi, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, Calgary Flames head coach Bill Peters has resigned amid allegations of racial slurs. The team's general manager made the announcement at a news conference.
This morning I received a letter of resignation from Bill Peters, which I accepted. Effective immediately, Bill Peters is no longer a member of the Calgary Flames organization.
Peters has admitted to using racial slurs when ridiculing the musical tastes of player Akeem Alou 10 years ago. Both men were with an American Hockey League team at the time. The Nigerian-born player dismissed the apology as misleading and insincere. That was yesterday's news. Peters has also been accused of physical abuse by another one of his former players. The Flames launched an investigation of Peters' behavior earlier in the week. To international trade now, the Mexican representative in charge of the new NAFTA negotiations made a visit to Ottawa today. Jesus Seade says the recent meetings between the United States, Canada, and Mexico have been part of the push to complete the deal, and he says that could happen soon.
We are getting there without being too definitive in my assessment that we are going to get there. We will at some point, and it'll be a better agreement.
Seade says the new agreement will include major changes to dispute resolutions between the countries. Under the old agreement, any one government could block the process, but he says that's about to get fixed. Seade says that was one of the changes that the Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives had called for before committing to approve the deal. Well, climate activists around the world rallied today to protect against inaction on environmental concerns. With this being, as we reported tonight, that major shopping day, Black Friday, many of the demonstrations took a very strong anti-consumerism slant. Massive crowds, climate strike events were planned today in 2,300 cities in 153 countries around the world. The protesters are demanding urgent action as experts warn of the consequences of rising global temperatures and record levels of greenhouse gas emissions, both contributing to health and economic problems. Droughts, extreme temperatures, fires and floods led to disasters worldwide this year. Another day of action is planned in Spain next week when world leaders gather for a UN climate summit in Madrid. Well, let's look at who's celebrating anniversaries and birthdays. A happy 90th birthday to Dorothy Hillier in Southbrook. She'll celebrate on Wednesday. Happy birthday, also a 90th on Wednesday to Jesse Brace in Greens Harbor. Happy 56th anniversary to Ron and Patsy Bavis of Paradise. They celebrated yesterday. Birthday greetings to Joan Simmons in Cannings Cove, who turned 90 on the 27th. 51st anniversary greetings to Bert and Winnie Heath in Roberts Arm. Their big day is next Friday. And today is the big 5-0 wedding anniversary for Ron and Velva Daw from Bay Roberts. And a tremendous birthday for Charlotte Matthews Newman, who is 106 years old, originally from Musgrave Town, now residing in Melbourne, Florida. Good pick. And on Thursday, it was a happy 59th anniversary for Marion and Junior Bailey in Grand Falls, Windsor. Also Thursday, happy 50th wedding anniversary to Malachi and Grace Normore from Lancelot, Labrador. 60th anniversary greetings this week to Malcolm and Jane Blanchard in Pollards Point. And a happy birthday to Rachel Moore on your right there, who will be celebrating her 93rd birthday on Monday in Springdale. Happy birthday to Bertha Melendi, who is celebrating her 93rd birthday tomorrow. Happy 61st anniversary to Alf and Lori Chislett of Anchor Point, who were married on November 30th. That's tomorrow, back in 1958. Happy 50th anniversary to Junior and Joan Cram of Botwood. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Doreen and Ken Russell in Bay Roberts. And 56th anniversary greetings to Claude and Mildred Banfield of Salt Pond, Buren, they celebrated yesterday. Also yesterday, happy 50th anniversary greetings to Wilson and Madonna Cluett in Frenchman's Cove, which, hey, that's also on the Buren Peninsula. Best wishes to Harry and Eileen Noseworthy from Botwood. They celebrated 59 years of marriage on Monday, the 25th. Happy 59th wedding anniversary to Fred and Shirley Rose in Bishops Falls. They celebrated on Tuesday. On Wednesday, it was a 63rd wedding anniversary for Ambrose and Marina Lovelace in Seal Cove in beautiful Fortune Bay. Congratulations. On Tuesday, it was a happy 95th birthday to Susanna McDonald in West St. Modeste, celebrating her 95th in Forto, Labrador. Sam Barrow from Gander celebrates his 90th birthday tomorrow. Alice Emberley from Mount Pearl will celebrate her 97th birthday on Sunday. On Wednesday the 4th, Bill Thibault in Gander turns 92. Congrats, loves his curling, bowling, and darts with his 5 great-grandchildren. Anniversary greetings for Whitfield and Nina McGraw, who are still together after 68 years, now living in Clarenville, formerly from New Bonaventure, Trinity Bay. Happy anniversary to Donald and Mabel Best of Fogo Island, who celebrated their 59th yesterday. And 50th anniversary greetings to Mary and Frank Keats in Grand Falls, Windsor. Happy 61st anniversary to Jim and Irene Edwards of Lawn, who celebrated Wednesday. On Thursday, it was 56 years of marriage for Dawn and Vera Parsons of Dover. Happy 50th anniversary greetings today to Yvonne and David Pittman in Rocky Harbor. Also today, happy 67th anniversary to William and Eileen Dwyer of Carbonear, who you see there with their great-granddaughter Zoe. And a happy 50th anniversary today to Patrick and Anita Cowell of Point LaHaye, St. Mary's. Happy 61st anniversary to Frank and Shirley Warfield living in Charlottetown, Bonavista Bay. Happy 52nd anniversary on Monday, this coming Monday, the 2nd, to John and Patsy Boland from Newtown, Bonavista Bay. Aubrey and Mabel Ellsworth from Hughesbrook celebrated their 68th wedding anniversary yesterday. Happy 63rd anniversary to Amelia and David Nickel in Stag Harbor, Fogo Island. Anniversary greetings to Jack and Elizabeth Forward, celebrating their 69th wedding anniversary on Monday the 2nd, shown here with Tess, their youngest of, get this, 23 great-grandchildren. Happy 65th anniversary greetings to Thomas and Carol Rumsey of Paradise, and happy 56th anniversary today for Hubert and Daphne March from Greens Harbor. Happy 69th anniversary to Majors Ray and Joan Stratton. And a big 50th anniversary today to Malcolm and Yvonne Young in Chanceport. And we've got time to actually squeeze one more in. Best wishes tonight, and it's going to be a happy 58th anniversary to Louis and Odelle Marsh of Port-au-Port West on December 2nd. Lots of love from your family. So congratulations to everybody celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. Pretty long list tonight. Now, Carolyn's not with me. I think I have to start writing an apology note. I must have said something during the commercial that upset her. But anyhow, she'll get over it. The weekend is here for all of us. Be careful with all that nasty weather Carolyn told you about. And we'll see you on Monday. The House of Assembly is back on Monday. It's the last time for the politicians to be active in the House before we get to the Christmas break. Probably a lot of news next week. Make sure to tune in to get the very latest here. I'm Anthony Germain. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great weekend.